Oh, hi everybody. Are you here joining me? This is LLK number 18. I am Laura Nelkin. I am a knitwear designer. I live in upstate New York, and I will hopefully be joined by my alter ego, Lola. Lola's a little bit more fun than I am, and I think she has some plans for the end of this log, so you want to stick around to see those. Um, I was trying to do kind of like a Mr. Rogers moment there where I was like, just pretending I was alone, not not on camera. And then I hope you guys got that. I'm such a freak. Sorry. It's been such a few weeks that we've had, and I know for some people this has been their whole lives, and many of us are waking up to traumas that other Black people have known about for a long time and have been struggling with. And I have been doing a lot of self introspection and thinking and understanding and reading and watching and listening and trying to figure out ways that I can have action and help without being a burden to anybody else. And if you've been following me on social media, I've been trying to amplify things there that feel important and valuable to share as I find things that resonate with me. Please feel free to do the same. There are a few people who've been sending along things that they find that have been helping them educate themselves, and I'm always happy to learn. Last week, I didn't film a log for two reasons. One, because it just didn't feel appropriate to film a log about knitting with everything that was going on. And I also had a little setback with my surgery. And it turns out that I'm a bit of a firecracker and I needed to slow down a little bit. And I went on some antibiotics and that helped a ton. But I think I bounced back a little faster than I should have, and then I needed to do a little backslide. And now I'm okay again, but I'm actually totally slowed down. I learned my lesson. So I'm here, I'm well. I hope you guys are all well. Um, I wrote something up because I get really ineloquent when there's some people I feel like when things get intense or they have something really valuable and important to say, they find their words so brilliantly, and I'm very jealous of that because I get a little bit tongue-tied and twisted, and I get very concerned that I'll say the wrong thing or hurt somebody's feelings or stick my foot in my mouth. And that is certainly never my intention. And I apologize if I've ever done that in the past. And I am going to continue to work on being my best self and making America and the world a place that everyone feels equal and included. Um, that's my goal. And I have some ideas for that. I'll share with you in a second. But I wanted to share one thing I did do this week. If you hadn't heard about it yet, Karita from Neighborhood Fiber Company, which is a Black owned yarn dyeing company in Baltimore, Maryland, where my girl goes to school. I've used Karita's yarns many times in designs, and she started a GoFundMe late last week with the goal of raising $10,000 for a Momentum Fund that would be like a donor advised charitable fund that she's going to do through the Baltimore Community Foundation. um, they're able to receive tax deductible donations that are going to be dispersed to a variety of organizations working for justice, empowerment, and equality. You could probably see my eyes reading while I was telling you that. Um, the work that Karita has done over the years in her community and beyond that is commendable and incredible. And her fund, when she originally opened it, she had the goal of raising $10,000, and she did that like in a few hours. And then she raised that to $20,000, raised that to $50,000, achieved that, and now she's going for $100,000. And as of right now, when I'm filming this, she was up to 60,000, which is amazing. And the opportunities that are going to be able to be the things she's going to be able to do with that fund, I'm really excited to see how those funds are dispersed and what kind of real change Karita can make with that. So what I decided to do was put the three designs that I have in Neighborhood Fiber Company, which is Syntha Socks and Finger Lake and Kitty. Those are all up for sale on Ravelry for 50% off right now. I have a bundle up on my designer page on Ravelry. I'll link to that below for you guys. And I'm going to match your purchase. So if you buy a pattern and it's $3, then I'll be donating $6. What I didn't want to do was put everything, tell you guys if you bought those, then I would donate, because I'd literally just be using your money to donate to the fund. And I also wanted to be contributing myself. So that way you get a pattern at half price. I'm donating the other half, and the full price of the pattern is going to the Momentum Fund. I'm really thrilled to be able to do that. I already, to date, on Monday I donated $1,000, and I have not tallied what the purchases have been since then, but I know many more were purchased since Monday. So thank you so much for contributing and helping out with that. Much appreciated for everybody. The other thing I've been doing is looking at business-wise where, our power, right? Everybody's individual power is how we can spend our money, right? Where we're spending our money. And it's kind of like you put your money where your mouth is, like you put your money into the things you believe in. And like I learned this week that Lowe's is a Black-owned company, and that they gave a huge amount of money to Black Lives Matter this week. And at the same time, Home Depot does not have the same values that I have. So personally, I've decided I've got a Lowe's and a Home Depot in my town, and I'm going to choose to shop at Lowe's from now on. That's my choice, right? I'm choosing to put my dollars where I feel comfortable putting them. For my business, I'm looking at where I'm spending money. It's a little iffy because when I'm buying beads for kits, all those beads come from like 3 different companies. I've already kind of chosen of those 3. There's 2 of them that are family owned and smaller and treat their employees really well that I know of. And so I try to buy from those 2 companies whenever possible. And the 3rd company, sometimes they carry things I can't get anywhere else. They're still fine. But the other 2, I know they're very small, and it makes a huge difference me shopping from them. But what I am outside. What I'm also planning on doing, I don't know if you guys have seen the 15% project, and that is a project that's asking retailers to look at what's on their shelves and pledge to carry at least 15% of what they sell from Black-owned businesses. And I'm not sure that's possible for me when I look at all the buying that I do and where I get yarn from to do 15% of Black-owned businesses. But I do think, and I'm waiting to like make this until I'm sure, I do think I can do 20 or 25% of my purchases from basically people of color or LGBTQ, like marginalized communities, to make sure that I'm balancing my spending out and helping everybody. Like that's something I can do as a business. And I don't want to be like, I'm definitely doing that if it turns out I'm not able to balance that out. But I'm very aware of, for clubs, that I do make sure I'm buying from a variety of people and supporting everybody. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. My little like Laura on a soapbox. My daughter has been protesting a lot, which has been amazing to watch. I got a little concerned that she was trying to get arrested by our village police the other day, but I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see. It's really incredible to watch youth be energized by current events. The power behind her words and actions are commendable. And we've had some lively family conversations lately. Let's put it that way. I want to give you guys a Bluprint update. And I want to give you an update, not because I have really much new information to tell you, but because it is constantly on my mind. For those of you who don't know, Bluprint was bought by NBC almost 3 years ago, and NBCU decided to close Bluprint down. I think that they are closing maybe by the end of the summer. I'm not sure. They're not giving a final date right now. It does mean that there's a bit of time, and they are working on a way for you to download classes. As I told somebody last week, I sent the world's nicest nasty email to them to say, I have not heard back from you. I have not heard from you since I got an initial email saying you were closing. I am doing a ton of customer service for you, helping my people attempt to understand what's going on and where their classes are and how they're going to be able to download them and what the heck is going on. And somebody got back to me and we set up a phone call and we talked, and I didn't get any real information. Like, every bit of information I got was like couched with like, this is what we believe is happening and we're hoping NBC says yes to this. It's basically like they could want the world for you guys. But NBC in the end has to approve any plan they come up with. So that is where they're at. Hopefully I will, the moment I have more information, I will send out an email and I will post on all the social media stuff, and I'll include it in the next log that I do. But just know that I completely have your back, and I'm not going to leave you hanging, because that is not my style, and I am just frankly so embarrassed by this that hopefully we will find a way around this. The next thing I'm doing while I'm dealing with that and everything else is trying to figure out what my first class on Teachable should be, so that I can, when I did classes with Bluprint and Craftsy, I come up with a lesson plan, I knit out all the step-ups, I script it on some level, so I'm ready to go with it. And I want to start planning my first class, but I need your help deciding what I should do. And I'll ask you at the end of the log just to leave a comment below if you have an idea for a class you'd like to see me teach online. I'm thinking Teachable will be the format that I use going forward, because if you sign up for a Teachable class, you can download the whole thing right away. So the moment you buy it, you can download it and own it. And I just have more control. They're mine. So if Teachable went away, I could put them up somewhere else and give you access to them somewhere else. And I really like the idea of that. So my 3 ideas right now is a short, quickie class to kind of try out the platform on 3 ways to do provisional cast-ons. There's 3 different ways I know of. They all have their pros and cons. I thought it would be fun to go over them and talk about. Seems like there's like a motorbike's going by. Good times. All right, we'll just there's no tractors today, so that's better. So 3 ways to do provisional cast-ons, and then maybe a class on beaded brioche. Like, I've been thinking about doing a small beaded brioche design, kind of like Mouette that I did years ago. And I could do some kind of like how to add beads to brioche and have an accompanying project for that. That could be really fun. The third thing is I do teach live a Shetland lace technique class that people seem to really enjoy. I am not from Shetland. I went to Shetland once. I have knit some Shetland lace. I absolutely adore it. And I could teach you guys the things I've learned about it, with the caveat that I am not from Shetland, and potentially better to learn about Shetland lace from somebody who's from Shetland. Very careful around that, because I don't want to steal anybody's cultural identity or rights, right? I don't know if I said that right. Again, foot and mouth. I'm not so good with the words. I mean really well. So let me know about that. Next up, we do have a knit along going in the Ravelry group that is Stay Home and Knit with Lola knit along. That has been going strong weekly. If you post anything you are knitting, it does not need to be one of my patterns. Weekly, we have a draw and somebody wins one of my patterns. And then at the end of the knit along, everybody who's finished one of my patterns and has posted it in the knit along and tagged it correctly will be eligible for a final prize. I am going to set the end of that knit along for the end of June. So 30 days has September, April, June. So June has 30 days. So June 30th is gonna, I can't believe I just did that. That was Lola. June 30th is gonna be the end of the knit along, and then I'll choose a winner at the beginning of July. And the reason I'm doing that is because typically in the summer we do what I call a kit along, which is a knit along to help you guys finish up all the gobs of kits that you've bought from me. And we've done that the last 2 summers. A lot of my kits are really small and easy to knit. Quick summer knitting. They've got everything you need in them. So we'll do the kit along starting July 1st, and I have not set an end date for that. I'm not sure if it's going to be July 31st or August 15th. I have been restocking a lot of kits in my shop lately and not saying anything because it just hasn't felt comfortable promoting on social media. So there are bead curloop kits in stock. There's elixir kits in stock. There are film kits. There are Casio kits, which I'm wearing here. Those are in stock. Ring kits are going to be in stock soon. I just got beads for them, so those will be going up really soon, hopefully in this week. Oh, and I'm working on a new kit, which I'll show you in a second. I just have a little piece of one of the kits for that. So that's kind of like the kit along update bit. Those sweaters I showed you guys 2 weeks ago, I was clearly overextending myself and it was because I got sick, that the test would be ready that weekend. What I ended up deciding to do was have a few pre-testers test the baby and toddler tunics because the concept is exactly the same as the adult tunics. And those tests have gone really well, and I'm really close to opening up the test for the adult sweaters, and I might do a few more of the baby toddler sweaters, but I'm feeling really confident about those two patterns. So on this Friday, I have a photo shoot with Jamie, my friend and photographer, and in that photo shoot, we're going to be shooting the July Lola's Choice kit, and we're going to be shooting these new earrings, and they're not actually new earrings. I'll bring it up so you guys can see it. These are the Echo earrings that I'd have to like kind of hold it steady so it can focus in. I'm not sure if it can focus in or not. So the Echo earrings I designed years ago. I believe it was like 2013 or 2014 for a Pattern Works club. And I never put that pattern up on Ravelry, and I only did those kits once. So I'm doing kits with the same colors as film because I thought they would look really good together, the film cuff and the earrings. That I really love how the beads are hanging on them. They're really fun little earrings. I tried to wear them for this log, and this hole is open and this hole closed up, and I couldn't get it open, so I decided not to hurt myself. And that we're gonna shoot at the photo shoot. And what else? The baby sweaters, we have to figure out a way. I'm not feeling comfortable asking people to use their toddlers or babies right now, so I think we might go with like a really precious clothesline shot of them hanging up, which I think will be really fun. And then I've got the sweaters to shoot as well. So I got Jamie and I have our work cut out for us on Friday, and luckily it's not supposed to be 90 degrees. It's just supposed to be like in the 70s or something, so I won't be sweltering in an Aran weight sweater for those photos. Knitting wise, what I'm knitting is basically everything for the photo shoot. I got a little overzealous with the Lola's Choice kit, and I decided I needed to knit one more. My tester sent me back there, so there's like 5 of them to show in those photos. I'm knitting one last one. I'm knitting a toddler version of the little tunic thing, and that will be done by Friday, come by hell or high water, even if I have to stay up super late soon. They're really fast to knit, so it's not that big a deal. I've been knitting the earrings. I have the yarn for the next N Club project, and I am just waiting till the photo shoot is over so I can concentrate on that design. I've got the concept, I've got the stitches. It just needs to I need to do some gauging and get it on the needles, and then I know it's gonna fly off them because it's super pretty. That bird was pretty. I'm trying to see if that's a cat bird. We have a few cat birds that have like 7 different kinds of calls. They're really cool. Sorry, highly distractible. Let me get back to it. Photo shoot, knitting. So yep, that's all I'm knitting. And then I have some more ideas of things I want to get on the needles, but part of that is deciding what the teachable class is going to be so I can focus on samples for that and get that rolling. Sewing, I've actually been sewing lately because I'm sewing pieces for the photo shoot, which is my way of getting new pieces of clothing for my wardrobe. So I don't have any of those to show you here. I also sewed Bella a few masks. She's working for the food bank for the Southern Tier this summer in an AmeriCorps position. And she's doing a food distribution tomorrow, and she's been really into just like a bandana over her face, which works, but it doesn't work if you're like have a clipboard. And so I made her some that tie around her neck and then also like hang down so she can put it around her ears and then like leave it hanging, which is cool. My friend started doing that and I was like, that's brilliant. So I made some of those this weekend, and my studio is just like completely trashed because I'm working on kits in there and sewing and doing Etsy shipping, and it's a lively room right now. I would take you in there, but I'm not sure if there's some secret stuff. Like, I feel like to give you guys a crazy studio tour, which maybe we'll do on a rainy day one day, I need to hide stuff for clubs because I wouldn't want to spoil anybody's shipment. That's no fun. We don't like spoilers like way ahead of time. That's my sewing story. Cooking, lots of cooking. I made an amazing rhubarb chicken last week from Food 52. I think I shared it on my Facebook page. And it was, I think, one of the best roast chickens, if you're a chicken eater, that I have ever made. It was so juicy, and it like cooked on potatoes, and there was this like spicy rhubarb butter, and I will give you the link because if you like rhubarb even slightly, you will love it. My family loved it. The only thing I did differently is I threw in some asparagus from the garden too. It has peas, and I threw in asparagus too. What else have I been cooking? I'm gonna make a like a shaved asparagus and pecorino salad tonight for dinner because we have lots of asparagus, and someone had mentioned that to me and I was like, oh, that sounds so good, like so lively and crisp and fresh. I haven't been baking too much because when it's hot, we don't have air conditioning, and so I am not motivated to turn on the oven. I did bake bread over the weekend, and we made pancakes that were really yummy with the sourdough discard. I feel like I'm just getting into like a groove with the bread making where it's not such a big deal. I am lounging in my chair right now. I feel like you guys should like, I don't know if I can tilt the camera so you can see that I am just completely, I am hanging out. I'm very comfortable with you. You should be honored. So yeah, not so much baking. I'm trying to, there was like another cooking thing that was happening. I was going to tell, I'll just tell you another time. It can't matter that much. In terms of reading and listening and watching, I finally got back into reading again. I think after surgery, I had some more time to read, and I read Normal People by Sally Rooney, which is also a show on Hulu, and I wanted to read it before I watched it. And it was a little unsettling. It's about young love, but it definitely felt like kind of like the insecurities of young love and people having real trust issues. And it was set in Ireland, and part of why I wanted to read it is I was supposed to be in Ireland this week, and so reading a book set in Ireland felt like a way of honoring that. And I did enjoy it. I'm psyched to watch the show now that I have read it. I'm also, for fiction, reading The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett, which is a book that came out last week. She is a Black American author. It's her second book. I think her first book is called Mother, which I have not read. And it is the story of two twins who were born in a city in a town, like a small town in the South, and they're very light-skinned blacks, and they run away together to New Orleans when they're very young, like 16, and they end up separating from each other, and one of them ends up embracing her adult life as a Black woman, and one of them ends up embracing her life as a white woman. And I'm only in the first few chapters, and I'm already super excited to go to bed at night. I find I read fiction at night. I'm not good at reading nonfiction at night because I fall asleep and I forget what I'm reading, and I don't like process it. So I need to have fiction at night. And this book feels really relevant, and it also is a really interesting, like, multi-generational story about families and kind of how I can't speak to it too much because I'm not that deeply into it, and I don't want to just be like regurgitating the Amazon review because that's boring because you can just go read that, and I'll give you a link below. In terms of listening, I finished listening to The Dutch House last week by Pachett. I had been listening to that forever. Because of that, I mean, it was good. I liked it, but there's a reason it took me so long to finish. So it clearly, I think the thing I liked about it the most is Tom Hanks reads it, and I love, love, love his voice. It's very comforting and soothing. So I enjoyed that piece of it a lot. I am also listening to How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, and my eyes are flicking because I didn't want to get any part of that wrong. That book is basically helping white people do their anti-racism work, like how to look at their past and look at the future and question what we've been taught and what we believe, and process and move forward and be better. And I'm listening to it in bits so that I can take those bits and really process them and think about them, instead of just like listening while I work and not really comprehending. Although I don't feel like I grew up in a home where people were overtly racist, I'm very aware of commentary that I grew up with that was considered to be appropriate and fine and not offensive. And in retrospect, I see how that shaped me, and I am very interested in shifting that. So if you are somebody who also feels that way, I am happy to discuss that book with you as I'm reading it. I have a book group going for it locally, actually like 2 book groups going. The other book that Bella just gave me to read when I'm done with How to Be an Anti-Racist is Between the World and Me by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi Coates. She read it for school this year for a class, and she's psyched to talk about it. So I told her I would read that, and then we would be able to discuss it. So I've got all of that on my reading queue. Reading's been, appropriately heavy and meaningful, and I appreciate that. I don't always need to escape with all my reading, and I do that a lot. Completely own that. Watching. Right now I'm watching the 13th on Netflix, which is about the 13th Amendment. I'm watching that in bits again so that I process it and I don't space out. I then have Just Mercy queued up on Amazon, which was just made free. I think it was released this year and they were selling it, and they decided that it was such an important watch that they would make it free for people to watch. So that's on Amazon Prime, and I believe it's in a few other places. And also, for a tiny bit of escape, I am watching Queer Eye on Netflix because the new season just came out, and I'm not perfect. So that's kind of my reading, watching, listening bit. I am knitting a lot right now, getting stuff done and sewing a lot, and part of it is that listening piece that I found some things I'm really into listening to, and they are keeping my hands busy while my mind is working. I want to do something really fun with you guys. So I am going to shut down this part of the log. I'm going to go get Bella and some binoculars, and I'm going to take you to the gorge, and we are going to try to find a peregrine falcon. Are you guys excited? I will see you in a few, okay? Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, this might be the most boring part of a log you've ever watched in your entire lives. We are at Taganic now. Taganic Gorge is in Trumansburg, New York, in my hometown. And I heard that straight across from where I'm standing, there are peregrine falcons nesting, and that there are 3 fledglings in the nest that are almost ready to jump the nest. And you can't really get a scale of it, but they're in that cliff straight across from us, and it goes straight down. And I can't imagine what that's going to be like when they decide to leave the nest for the first time. They might be like, "Mom, watch out, here I come." I have no idea. So Belle and I are here and we have binoculars and we are attempting to see them, and I figured if I just held the video up while we were looking that maybe a falcon would swing by. This is the time of day that sometimes they come by. I haven't gotten to see one yet. This morning someone was out here with really good binoculars and did see them and showed me where the nest was. But we're having a hard time finding it with our nest. So if the falcon comes, I will turn this back on so you can see it. And if not, I'll keep trying with you guys, because I've learned a lot about the peregrine falcon over the last 20 minutes, and there's a great photo that I'll show you guys in a sec from 1926 that was taken of a peregrine falcon right in front of the falls. That is super beautiful. And then in 1965 was the last time a falcon was seen in this gorge. They started to become extinct due to DDT, and in 1970 they were put on the endangered species list, and then they were taken off in 1999 when their numbers increased again. But this is the first peregrine falcon supposedly that's been in the gorge since 1965 that's been recorded. So that is pretty cool. Maybe it'll show up. If it does, I will turn the video back on for you guys, okay? Okay guys, that was a total bust. Bella and I do not have the patience for waiting for a falcon to come. It's super hot out, and I have a feeling that they are somewhere cool right now. Right behind me is that cliff they're supposed to be in. I will keep trying, and if I find them, I'll bring you back another day. I always have my phone on me, really, so if I see one, I'll try to catch it. Sorry about that. Birding. I'm not patient enough to be a birder. It's never gonna happen. Bella, do you want to go out for ice cream now?
Yeah, do you want to see a fatty?
Yeah, let's see a fatty.
Look at it.
Oh, nice. I love
Look at
him.
his butt. He's so funny looking.
Super cute. All right, well, we didn't find a peregrine falcon, but we found a new friend. I forgot to remind you guys that you should subscribe below if you want to see more logs from me. I'm really bad at this YouTube thing.